Good morning.
Good morning. I'm Chris. I wanted to say that, but I'm not sure which agenda items go for it. I thought number 9. I just
Number 9
I think
is
it's number 9.
financial review equivalent.
Yeah, and it's about some kind of costs.
Okay.
Okay.
Do we have a signer?
Yes.
Operations
type of cost or?
It's like,
Yeah.
it's the cost of the attorneys. I had sent them, and it was supposed to be forwarded, and I watched the last meeting. I don't know that it was just then.
Okay.
And I'm not sure I got it in time for the meeting before that.
There is a legal report that's me where I'm talking about what's happening with accountants.
Okay.
Does that make more sense?
It could, sure. What agenda item is that?
That is
What's that one?
number 9.
That's
Just
number
as
9 is what I thought.
Have you got a signer?
It's right over there, yes. If you'd like to speak, as usual, please use the signage.
Remember, they can sign up for anything at the start of each agenda item.
They can speak for 3 minutes for each agenda item. Yes, I'm going to try to do better about that. As far as
Do it, excellent.
doing it in order. At least it's not the end of the day for me. Let's just put it that.
I was up most of the night. Our oldest dog. Yes. Three teeth. Well,
Racist.
It's trying not to keep it alive.
Yes.
it is.
Backyard starts, it was, this originally been like,
It may look terrible. It's 3 hydrants. I know.
Oh, that's
Start this second, Jeff.
Good, whenever you are.
Okay, thanks.
Did you say this in?
I figured I'd wait.
Yeah, it's not weekend anyway. Yeah, she had me move something like we do. Blaming other people into this.
Oh, that's right.
The way you do this is you look at whichever number of minutes you want, and you start, just go like that, start the timer. If you want to pause, put the display out.
Reset.
Reset.
Fancy.
So that way goes on. Stop, there's one more.
Okay, so. Timer's right. Want to pause, just like that.
How many gadgets do we have at your house?
Oh, no, he returned some.
Oh, good.
Yeah, yeah, no. This one seems to work out very well. We tested them now before we were. The last one was crazy.
All right, are we ready to begin? Okay, I'd like to call this meeting to order, and time is, I see, 10:05. Thank you very much, everyone, for coming today. We have a number of agenda items, but we won't push it, but I think we'll go through it fairly well, fairly quickly. Let's start out with the roll call. Jeff, you here?
Yes, Jeff Walker present.
Yep. Scott?
Here.
And Brian Garceau. We are all here. All right, next item is public comment. This is 3 minutes on any topic, and I need to go get the sign-up sheet. Has anyone not signed up that would like to sign up? Does anyone not have an agenda item that needs an agenda? Agenda here.
Anybody need an agenda? Yeah.
All right, so if you want to speak to a non-agenda item, which is what we're about to do now, you would have put an X in this column. It's difficult for me to understand whether that happened
Put an
here.
X in there for me, will you?
Sure. Would you like to speak?
Yeah.
Okay, Earl, you are up.
I guess I have a gripe, and I'd like to see it, when you guys go into the private session or whatever, that you guys limit it to a half hour. I know it seems like you guys should already have things in your mind what you're gonna talk about and the answers, whatever, and always take with the vote, you guys come back. Instead of being an hour and a half or whatever, you guys limit us to 3 minutes to talk. You guys should limit yourself when you go to those private sessions. That's not fair to leave everybody here for hours, hour, whatever. I think it should be 30 minutes.
Thank you, Earl. I don't have any other non-agenda comments.
Yeah.
Did you want?
Yeah. It's above the other one.
Oh, well, Chris, so you want to wait for that particular agenda item to talk
No,
about?
I wanted to talk in general and an item.
Okay, very good,
All right.
please.
I just wanted to let everybody know, I found an interesting article in Texas Monthly's August edition about water, wastage of water, but then it's a very long article, and you have to remember this is a very biased publication, so you have to but it's good to know what you're up against in life. So it does mention water companies. It says, under state law, utilities can't charge customers more for water than the costs of treating and delivering it, which we're very familiar with that fact. But it says they can impose steeper rates on water wasters. The idea is that customers who use reasonable amounts of water for basic needs should pay less than those who also use a lot more. And an example in San Antonio, somebody who used 20,000 gallons of water was paying 6 times as much per gallon under that kind of a structure, which wound up reducing their water use, of course, because they didn't want to pay all that money, and then benefiting the water corporation. So just something that if we evaluate our structure again in the future, maybe we could consider something like that.
So if I understand it, and I'm allowed to ask
Sure.
qualifying questions so that I
Right.
best understand it.
Right.
If we were to change the rate structure,
Right.
whatever we did, we cannot make money off of the water part of it.
No.
Is that it?
But they can calculate, calculate the use of an individual member, I believe, unless this example, it's very general, it doesn't include their organization structure.
Sure.
But it says that you can charge by the individual's water usage a steeper rate.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
But it's a very interesting article in general about water in the state of Texas.
Thank you. Thank you. Ken, did you?
No,
No?
I just drew an arrow from his line for extra.
Yeah, we don't do that. All right, that is the end of,
I signed up for general comments,
I'm sorry, where?
public comments.
Oh, Patty, I see, it's a different color here, I saw it. Please speak, I'm so sorry.
Okay. I think Michelle signed up too, and she said she was gonna give me her minutes. Is that true?
That's true, yes.
To your point, to your topic of the article, that's true to an extent. Usually those articles are written about investor-owned utilities, and you just said you didn't know the organization. We are highly restricted as a member-owned because we're not supposed to be making really any profits. But that's not what I wanted to talk about. I've got a few things. First, consumer confidence report. I don't know if you guys are aware of that. It's posted on the internet. It's supposed to be given to us every year, and it's the quality of our water, and it's also the water loss. And when we have water loss audits that are submitted to Texas Water Development Board, I looked at it the other day. We max out at our water quality. So we have turbidity, and we have the copper and the lead and all that. And I looked at it, and there's a range, and we are at the top. So I don't think anyone's ever told you that. It's on the website, so go ahead and look at that. And then it said the number of gallons of water that are lost and I believe it was over 1 million for 2023 of gallons lost. That's on the report. I'm just taking it from the report. And they were supposed to give it to us back on June 1st. They didn't give it to us until November, and they were given a violation by the TCQ for not giving us that information. They'll never tell you that. But hang on, I only have so much time, so I'll talk to you afterwards, because they'll cut me off. But they'll cut me off. Surcharge. They don't legally have the authority to charge a surcharge. The previous board and this board has never passed a surcharge. It's not in our tariff. It's not in our bylaws. The previous board, Renee and Jeff Walker, said, yeah, you have to put it in the bylaws. They've never done it. So currently, as it stands, they're charging us a fee that is not legitimate. So we're not supposed to be paying the surcharge. Legally, I could file something and they would say, yes, you're right, whether the PUC or district court. And that's just another example of their mismanagement. They don't have anything in their tariff on surcharges. Membership fees. Jeff Walker signed something in the compliance filing that, yes, we are in violation of our own tariff, bylaws, etc. We are charging membership fees that are $402.50 instead of $350, and the previous boards just put it in there. And one time they took a vote, and it was only those who were in person, the whole membership has to vote on it. So the PUC determined final order, you can't be charging that. Guess what? They're still charging it. So anybody that has paid $402, you're due a refund. And that's just the facts. Extraordinary legal fees. Out of the rate appeal came the determination and a memo by Commissioner Lori Kobos that the legal fees. She's giving me her minutes.
No, we don't do that here. If she'd like to speak, she's welcome to speak.
That is not how the
We've never
tradition
done it
has
that
been. We've all, when did you change this? When was the
The
vote?
policy was in place from the prior board. It's
We've always
supposed to
done it
be
that way.
No, I'm sorry, I'm not standing down. You don't change it because I have things to say. Your
Would you-
executive session,
Would you please?
totally
would you
illegal.
Please take your seat.
Your previous executive sessions,
It's not.
your previous executive sessions have always been on the agenda. Your attorney was wrong. The law states that if your agendas always say executive session listed as an agenda item, and break it out, you have to follow that.
Would
He's
you-
wrong.
Would you please take your seat?
Okay, let's see, what else?
Patty Flunker, or would you please?
No,
take your
I'm
seat?
not.
Not only that,
Yes,
you
sir.
hadn't attended a damn meeting till late in the
I'm
game
not.
to see
You
that
changed
this always
the
been the way.
rules when the game has already started.
Michelle has ceded her time.
Everybody knows that's how they've done it, and then now you're gonna tell me, why didn't you tell me when I first came up here? Not gonna waste my time.
I don't think it's
Do you
new.
guys see how they do this? They don't wanna hear, they do not wanna hear the right things.
Okay,
That's why they're
Let's
stifling
do
it.
it this way.
You're a
Patty.
Marxist.
I'm sorry, Dan.
You are a Marxist.
Why are you doing this to me?
I'm not doing it to you. Okay, so.
I'm sorry, this is how it's always been. Everybody that comes to meetings have known that. I'm gonna finish. Rate appeal,
Before you finish-
$3,000 only.
How much time do you need?
I just need 1.5. Give me-
1.5 minutes?
Yes, that's
Okay,
it.
go ahead, Ben.
Rate appeal. The final order from the rate appeal was only $3,000 in the rates. So they can't put any legal fees, 3,000 of legal fees. They can't put that in our rates. And obviously they're not. Well, maybe they are, I don't know. But they've incurred over $100,000 in legal fees with the new law firm. They've given us the invoices, we know. Where are they getting the money to pay that? They've paid it. I know for a fact they've paid over $75,000. It's on the legal invoices. Where are they taking that money from? It's not in the rates. They gotta be taking it from somewhere. Their financials they submitted that we see, the membership fund is depleted. That is supposed to be a deposit. It's gone. There's like $10,000 in it. 9? I don't know if they did it, the previous board, whatever. If all of us at one time said we want our membership fee back, guess what? They don't have it to give it to us. Do you think PEC operates that way? No. We are operated just like PEC. Mismanagement, mismanagement, mismanagement. I'm putting you on notice. I am going to be filing something with the PUC. This list is incredibly long. 2 of you guys are getting refunds that you shouldn't be getting right now because you didn't come onto the water system until like 6 months later after the rates were raised. So you board directors, you and you, were getting rate refunds right from the get-go. What do you have to say about that? People 6 months ago that came on are getting refunds. People that were paying for 3.5 years and moved away, they don't get a dime. And guess what? There's probably not going to be any money for them when all's said and done. But hey, that's great. You guys are getting refunds. Awesome.
Thank you, Patty. Next.
Thank you, Patty.
You are welcome.
Michelle, did you want to speak?
No, I just
Okay.
wanted to see my minutes.
Okay, because
I thought
I
what she
didn't
had to
see.
say was important.
I didn't
Apparently
see
you
your
can't
name
do that
here, but
anymore.
out of deference, I thought I would ask, but you're good.
No, I don't.
I signed up for everything.
Okay, I see it says everything here. Okay. So would you like 3 minutes for general comments, Danny?
3 minutes for general comments. But this is more for them. It's a Q&A. Is it true that the board has spent over $100,000 on legal fees in the last 5 months? Yes, they have. As Patty said, where's the money coming from to pay the attorneys? As Patty said, they're pillaging the accounts that aren't supposed to be touched. Accounts that are never be touched. Money that's supposed to be there in case everybody says they want their money back. Or they could be using the co-bank loans. Has Scott Miller been inquiring about raising our water and sewer rates with the PUC? Yes, on 7/18, it's in the invoices. Scott Miller racked up a $1,400 bill just to chat with the attorneys, inquiring on how to raise our rates. $1,400, nice. True or false? Did Scott Miller state in a May 2023 meeting, the board should never be allowed to spend unlimited funds on legal fees? Yes, true. On 5/25/2023, it's in the minutes. He reiterated what the PUC stated in their findings in docket 50788, that it was unreasonable for any board to have access to unlimited legal fees. He also restated that large expenses of the WSC did nothing to improve the water service and that the patron members should not bear the legal expenses. Question, is it true that Walker and Garceau spent over $1,600 to have the attorneys put together the July 16th agenda? Yes, according to the legal invoices, they spent well over $1,600 on one agenda. Is it true that there's only one set of meeting minutes for the last 17 months? Yes, it's true. Why don't they have any legal recorded meeting minutes? Why aren't they done? So that there's no legal binding record of what they have done. And there's nothing on this agenda about approving their last sets of minutes. Why? It's always been that way. Is it true that the board does not have a secretary, treasurer, president, even though they spent $292 in legal fees to have the attorney craft a resolution for officer positions to be voted on at the July 16th meeting? On 7/15, review documents for agenda packet, review resolution regarding officer positions. Why don't they have officers? Because none of them want to hold responsibility when this thing falls apart. The treasurer, who's doing our finances? In closing, this board has proven to be a colossal failure. Thank you.
Thank you, Danny. All right. Sometimes it's difficult to see from the sign-up sheet, but does anyone else need an opportunity to speak? Thank you all for your comments. Going back to the agenda. Okay, first up we have an operations report, and I guess I should say to start off that everywhere you see the word report on here is really a status update.
Right.
Correct?
Yeah.
Okay, that's the
Verbal as well as there'll be a written
Very good.
on the website.
On the website.
I got the operation report late yesterday afternoon. I've asked Lori to post this 2-page report that came from AWR. The highlights are they would like us to spend some money, but we'll put it on the next agenda item, so we'll give you gentlemen a chance to look at it. There are some repairs that are needed to various things in our pseudo clarifier that are over there that are highlighted here. There is some motors and some valves that they're requesting to get funded. There also is a outstanding issue that they'd like us to address, but we'll do that in the next meeting from this operating report. Again, this is all repairs and maintenance to the facility to handle turbidity issues that occur when we have all the rainfall that we had over the last 60 days. monitoring and/or identifying all the debris and dirt, turbidity that's, trying to keep it to a level that's acceptable. There were 2 customers, there were some new tap fees for sewer that were applied for this last coming month. Also, they are making a recommendation on our tap fees that I think we should consider at our next board meeting. There's a whole table there. Again, this report, Brian, I sent it up to Lori to put on the website so they could read it in detail of what that entails. But again, I just got this late yesterday afternoon. So, nothing of major problems over there. We do have some repairs to the facility that they are requesting. And then they have a new, like I said, tap fees that they would like us to consider as a template going forward. So we'll have to put that into items for our next meeting. Okay? So, and again, this is up on the website, operations report 0824-2024. I don't know if it's up there yet, but I submitted it to be published so everybody can see it.
I have a comment on the
Yeah.
clarifier tank. They imply that the pump and the valves and everything were basically a Band-Aid
Yes,
for the present tank that's being used as a clarifier,
that's correct.
but it will not suffice in the future.
Nope,
So that's going to have to be budgeted for
Yep.
replacement of that clarifier tank.
that's what they're asking for. I don't know.
And the turbidity is due to the max start output, which sends a lot of turbidness.
Yeah. Dirty water,
Downstream.
basically dirty
Yeah.
water. It's
I
going from
believe
upstream.
Timmy also mentioned that when the river is as low as it has
Yeah.
been, you get a lot more sediment that you have to deal with.
That's correct.
So apparently, from what we learned this morning, if that source is correct, then the plant actually kept up with all the challenges in the past year or two.
Barely.
They had, yeah,
Barely.
barely, but they had.
So, I
Some
mean,
of the things that they're
guidelines-
recommending will assist in
Yeah.
keeping.
The guidelines, when we vote, are conservative, because we're dealing with people that consume this stuff.
Yeah.
Anything else for this one?
No, everything else, yeah.
That's it for operations report. The next topic
I
is...
signed up to speak on each agenda item.
I'm sorry?
I signed up to speak on each agenda item.
Patty, wait a second. You're absolutely correct. You're absolutely correct. It's my fault. I told myself I was going to do better this time. You should have been able to speak at the beginning when it was first announced. So would you please come in for 3 minutes if you would?
On the last agenda item,
This is...
the one we just did.
Is this
Yes,
for the
exactly.
operation?
That's-
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay,
exactly.
what they never tell you is this has been an ongoing issue for years, the turbidity, and it's been neglected. And in their June report, or whatever it was, May, they brought up that we only have like 1 filter of the turbidity working. We need to have 4. It's going to be $18,000. But they'd rather pay the attorneys to do to do agendas and all this other stuff and take calls than to invest in the filters for turbidity. If you don't know what turbidity is, it is pathogens, it's bacteria that gets in the water, and your filters are supposed to be able to remove that from the water. We only have, as I understand it from the report, just 1. So that's an issue that we've got, you run the risk of bacteria in the water, and it's just been a neglect over and over and over. Let's pay the attorneys, let's not take care of the system. Other thing too, on the report from June that's online, is that we are subsidizing taps for all new members. And because Jeff Walker signed a compliance filing with the PUC that we can't raise any rate, nothing, without permission from the PUC, and that'll take probably a year or so to go through that process, and it doesn't qualify for an emergency rate, we are basically giving taps away for free. That's what we're doing, because the price of taps has gone up, but we can only charge what's in our tariff. So, good job, Jeff Walker.
Thank you, Patty. Danny?
Yeah, I don't have anything to say.
Nothing? Michelle, did you sign up for this? Okay, thank you. I want to ask again. I'm sorry. I now understand how this is here.
I didn't
Okay.
sign up. Can I call?
What's that?
I didn't sign up. Is it all right if I mention?
Yeah.
Why don't you do this? Take this
Okay.
and sign wherever you'd like to speak.
Okay.
And here's a pen. And did you want to talk to this specific item at least?
I want to talk to y'all.
Every item?
No, my own item.
Okay. Oh, general,
Yeah.
okay, just, I mean, it's absolutely religious. Is there anyone else who would like to speak to general comments? We're gonna, I think a couple people arrived here a little
So
later.
maybe they didn't have an opportunity to read this. Maybe they didn't have an opportunity to read it when they.
But it's
signed up.
possible if you come late or whatever, we're
I can't
trying to put this.
That's all right.
Yeah. All right, Bobby, would you like to, we'll back up just a second and hear your general
whenever,
comment.
whatever you want to do.
Go ahead. Guys?
Yeah, you said go ahead and speak.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I want to, I've never been treated as bad. Dana Martin couldn't have done it any better, as y'all did last weekend, last meeting, when you spent 2.5 hours over here and concerned people sat here in the heat. And then y'all didn't give a damn. You showed up here and you didn't mention anything. It was adios, goodbye, kiss my ass. You know, and I don't like being treated that way. Maybe that's the way y'all did it. I don't know if y'all had breakfast over there, had lunch, but y'all conveniently called your wives, so they showed up here at the end of the meeting. I felt like a fool, wasted 2.5 hours here, and I think all of y'all should be ashamed of yourselves. You know, it's just ridiculous. Continue on. Y'all do whatever the hell you want to do.
Thank you, Bobby.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. So our next item is number 5. I'm going to speak the item, then we're going to hear comments, public comments, and then we'll talk about it. Okay? So it's a resolution to have bylaws committee send proposed new and amended bylaws to PUC as a compliance item. All right. Patty, I believe you're signed up for this.
Okay, you probably won't get information from them and you'll hear their story, but this is what happened in the compliance filing that Jeff Walker signed and agreed to. They're required to submit a draft bylaw before the community votes on it, and they did it. The lawyers didn't file it, even though the lawyers are the authorized party to file in that case. Nobody knows who filed it. The judge actually filed something saying, oh my goodness, what the heck? It's true. I mean, it was just a filing of bylaws. And on top of that, it says draft. You don't know who filed it. It said bylaw committee. And there's mistake after mistake after mistake. They don't understand what needs to be changed in the bylaws from the compliance filing. And then I looked at it because it was filed as a Word, so you can download it, and I saw who the creators of it are, and it's Renee French. Renee French wrote this, and I guess submitted it, I don't know, and he was in the properties, and someone named Steve Smith, who I don't understand who Steve Smith is because his name's all over these filings in the PUC. I mean, Scott Miller or Scott Smith. I'm like, is it supposed to be Scott Miller? But that's the story. They're required to file bylaws, and they're getting ready to refile them, but they're still not correct. There's still issues in them, but there you go. That's what's going on.
So, Patty, before you go, can I ask one clarifying question?
Sure.
So the document that you downloaded and reviewed, how did you determine who the author was?
It's easy. You filed a Word document. You just look at the properties.
Are you aware that Word documents, especially documents like that, are prone to being passed around person to person to person over time?
It doesn't matter. The guy's not on the board anymore. And the two people's names that are on it, you're overlooking the real issue here. It was filed without any cover letter. It was filed by the bylaw committee, who hasn't been given the authority to do that. They're an ad hoc committee. And as I know from the short time I was on the board, somebody on the bylaw committee, is it Josie or you, that were appointed, they are unaware that that was filed, and they have not been invited to any meeting that the bylaw committee has voted on to do this. So the list is a mile long on everything wrong with this filing, and that's it. That's all I gotta say.
Thank you, thank you. So what I was trying to do is clarify the source of the document. And I can tell you from experience over years, I have documents that were created in like 1989 that are still being used. It still shows the same person as the author. I appreciate the rest of it, but if you tag it to a particular person, I'm just saying as a clarifying statement that's not necessarily the person that wrote that document.
Well, I'm 100% sure he started those bylaws.
Oh, well, in the past, maybe, sure. And so someone may have picked that up, and rather than start out from the beginning and start typing, they would take that document and edit it. I mean, that's how I would do it.
Okay, well,
Okay,
I'll give you that much. But the bigger picture here is everything is wrong with those bylaws.
and the way it was
And even the
submitted.
judge said it.
And the way it was submitted.
Chief Administrator.
You got, I think that was probably the first time we've done that, right? Okay, and we made a mistake. We're gonna fix that.
Well, that's a big
Thank you,
one.
Patty. All right, so,
No, I haven't gone yet.
all right, so now,
I haven't gone yet, Brian.
oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
All right, and this is a serious question to y'all. Who is the committee, the bylaw committee? Who filed the anonymous filing? And I requested this stuff in a records request, and I've never received it. I wanted the red line version of this, the bylaws, in all of Renee's work, because Renee sat up here at this table, not this table, but throughout the time saying he was working on it, and I never received that in a public information request. We've been billed, and they sent me some garbage, some credential committee stuff, but I've never received the red line version of the bylaws so that we could look at it, we could pass it around amongst us, and see what we think.
None of you guys really know how they're changing our bylaws because they haven't shared it with you.
I'm sorry. And
So,
Danny, when was that?
who is the committee, and who did the anonymous filing? I mean, we deserve to know. Did somebody on this board participate in it? Oh, now you're not going to answer.
Let's start, let's open it up.
No, actually, I'm not going to answer it. My only opportunity here is to ask clarifying questions. That's my limitation.
That is not your limitations, and per the Texas Open Meetings Act, you can actually answer questions. Who is
It's
the
okay.
bylaw committee, and who filed the anonymous filing?
That's fair. It's my option to answer a question. You're correct. I do not have to answer the question. You're correct.
Correct. No, I'm not surprised you're not going to answer.
Well, I have any reason not to answer it. But anyway, when was the PIA request filed? So that I can follow up.
March-ish.
24.
Yeah.
March-ish.
Thank you very much. Anything else?
No, that's it. But here you are. I mean, literally, you got the Marxist playbook. You battle with Patty because you think you can do battle with her. And when I asked you a pointed question that this board should know, you refused to answer it. Who's the bylaw committee and who filed the anonymous filing?
Can we move on?
Anything else? Are you done? Okay, thank you. All right, let's see. Patty, Danny, and that's all for this one, unless I missed something. All right, so let's discuss this.
Well,
I
let's
would
move on.
like-
Let's open it. I'll give a report.
Well, yeah, you can get the report. Go ahead.
Go. All right. I am the chairman of the bylaws committee, and I did work, I took some of,
Wait. Where was that vote at a meeting?
Excuse me, Patty, please.
There was no vote for that.
Please, let's let the man speak.
it was a past
And then-
meeting, but you can ask that as an agenda item if you want to. Or a PIA through Danny if you want.
Yeah.
Right.
This
But-
our money.
I did use previous items that he had put in place for the removal election, which you're familiar with, which basically changed some of the bylaws that pertain to member control. And then I went through it and with committee members, There was Judy Miller, there was Ryan, somebody with he was an attorney that worked with Renee, and Renee. Now remember, these are new and amended proposed bylaws. They are going to be reviewed by the PUC. I also went through the PUC comments on the old bylaws, and they outlined all the problems they saw that were wrong or basically did not allow for member control, meaning changing elections. And you're right, it was not done in a legal fashion, but if you go to the PUC website, the interchange, it says nothing about a control page. It says, here's how you do it. It's got specific instructions. You fill out a form that basically has everything you would put in a control page. Well, when it gets published, it's not there. Okay? So obviously that stymied the staff and DICE and the ALJ, and they're going, well, we're gonna have a meeting on the 29th to determine what to do with this document. So in the meantime, I did talk with Erin about these bylaws, and she said they got confused because it was not coming from an attorney. Okay? Now, I was not sure that you can interact with the PUC without an attorney, because I've interacted with the PUC without an attorney. So we've come up with a new resolution to submit the bylaws again with a cover page done by lawyers, and that will be sent in on Monday. We'll give it back to them. And remember, this is all proposed, and it's subject to changes by the PUC or anyone else if they make sense. Okay, so these are not final bylaws. They will be subject to member vote before the next annual meeting, and that's the plan.
So these were just proposed.
These are just proposed bylaws.
Proposed changes that you were submitting out to
Exactly.
the,
So are
to
you
the
the
PUC.
only person on this committee?
No, I said I am the chairman.
Well, it's not a question and answer part of the session, I'm sorry.
No. I already stated who was on the committee.
Well, Josie Fuller was nominated to be on it at the February meeting, and she has never been informed of any bylaw meeting.
Okay.
It's Scott and his wife, he just said it.
And that's a conflict of interest. You're not supposed to have spouses on the same committee.
Have you finished your report?
That's the end of it.
Is there anything else? Jeff, do you have anything
No,
as far as this goes?
I just wanted,
I read it.
I would want to clarify.
Can you say again, just in summary, what was different with this one from the one that?
No, there's too much stuff.
It is too
I'm
much.
not gonna go into it.
Yeah, I looked at it line
We've
by
talked about
line.
redlining. We did not go into it using redlining.
Yeah.
We went into it going, look at what the PUC, DICE, and staff said that were wrong with the old bylaws. Here's what, sometimes you need to add new stuff. Sometimes you need to throw out old stuff. But we did not work off of the old document. Okay?
So if I can, Frank, can I ask him a question? Yeah. So what I'm hearing, Scott, is, again, this was just a proposal based upon comments from the PUC and what you felt and previous members, board members, whatever it was.
And Texas law.
And Texas law, kind of put into a draft document.
Yep.
What I, is a good way?
Proposed.
Proposed document that was sent just as a proposal.
With no
not
cover
final.
letter.
Yeah, understood that.
Pretty blind because there was no
can
instruction
we-
to do it any other way.
Can we get this draft? I know it's on the interchange, but can we get a copy and we'll put it up on the website?
No, we'll do it after we do this one.
Yeah, got it, okay, but we can't put that.
I don't see any reason why not.
Yeah, I mean, to let the members, I mean, I think it might be a good idea for.
But it's still proposed.
That's what I mean, yeah.
Okay,
as a-
so you
as a
have people
draft
commenting on
proposal.
stuff that might get changed anyway.
Yeah, well, as long as they realize that, I think we should write a
When you
cover
put it on the
page.
website, but yeah.
Yeah, I think we need a cover page to say this is what was submitted as a proposal, as a draft set.
Right.
You know, if you want to send comments in, please do. Again, we don't know if they're going to be included or not, or they might be rewritten
Exactly.
into another format. You know, again, first volley, not to be until the first.
No, we certainly welcome the comments because we are not attorneys.
Okay.
Great. Anything else on this topic?
That's it? Oh, wait a minute.
Yes.
Yes, we need to discuss this certificate for resolution to have this submitted again to the PUC using the proper format with, looks like 8 different whereases in there.
Yeah.
And maybe it comes now or whatever. And that will be done, but with a board vote.
Yeah.
Want to move the, do we take the vote?
You're supposed to read that resolution out, you know.
Yeah, you have to read that whole thing. Not that one, but this one. The next one. This one. You have to read
The resolution? You want to read the whole thing?
that. Yeah, you're supposed to.
Okay. Whereas Windermere Oaks Water Supply Corporation, parentheses, Windermere or Corporation, is a member-owned, member-controlled water supply corporation created and operating under Chapter 67 of the Texas Water Code, known as TWC, and whereas pursuant to Section 7 of Windermere's bylaws, the bylaws may be altered, amended, or repealed in whole or by part in the affirmative vote of a majority of the Board of Directors, but no amendment of the bylaws affecting memberships, the voting rights of members, or the number of directors may be made without a majority vote of a quorum of members. And whereas Windermere amended its bylaws on February 1st, 2020, changing Windermere's membership fee from $350 to $402.50 without a member vote. And whereas pursuant to TWC 13004, the Public Utility Commission of Texas, the Commission, has the same jurisdiction over a water supply or sewer service corporation that the Utility Commission has under this chapter over a water and sewer utility. If the Utility Commission finds that the water supply or sewer service corporation, number 1, is failing to conduct annual or special meetings in compliance with 67.007, or 2, is operating in a manner that does not comply with the requirements for classifications as a nonprofit water supply or sewer service corporation prescribed in sections 13002, number 11, and 24, and whereas Commission staff conducted an investigation of Windermere for failure to act in accordance with Texas Water Code TWC 13002, 11, and 24, and 67002, docket number 55454, and whereas the Commission issued an order in docket number 55454, signed on March 7, 2024, requiring, among other things, that Windermere file with the Commission proposed revised bylaws which be subject to a member vote. Whereas, pursuant to Section 2 of the bylaws, the annual meeting of members for the election of directors and for the transaction of all other business which may come before the meeting shall be held per 67.007 of the Texas Water Code between January 1 and May 1 at a time specified by the board. And whereas the board desires to submit proposed revised bylaws to the Commission as required by the Commission order, subject to a member vote at the next annual meeting of members, now, therefore, be it resolved by the Board of Directors of Windermere Oaks Water Supply Corporation that, Section 1, the board acknowledges the recitals listed above as true and correct and incorporates each in this resolution. Number 2, the board has reviewed and approved sending the proposed bylaws to the Commission. And it says approved this 24th day, signed by Jeff. So we need to pass this one.
All right, I'd like to move that we resubmit these bylaw changes.
We move to accept the resolution to resubmit.
Okay, I move we accept the resolution to resubmit these draft bylaws essentially to the PUC.
I second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, so moved. All right, anything else with this one? Okay, So we're moving on to item number 6. This is PUC compliance and other PUC cases. And let's hear from Patty on this one.
You know, it's the IRS report.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah, that is.
No, it's number 6, PUC
Number 6,
compliance.
yes.
Oh, sorry.
You need glasses, man.
All good.
Well, I guess I get to talk about what they just talked about because the bylaws are part of the compliance filing. Everything they just said in that resolution has inaccuracies all throughout it. But no worries, when they file the bylaws, the ratepayers or our group will file something calling out all the mistakes because there are so many. You do not know what you're talking about in that resolution. And so that's that. Compliance filing. They got a compliance filing for not operating as a nonprofit, and the laundry list is long. And they're supposed to file all these reports 60 days, like 90 days, 120 days. They haven't filed anything. They have filed is bylaws and they filed it wrong. They have asked for extension, I think 4 or 5 extensions, and they've never met those extensions. And the PUC is over this. And they filed something, I don't know, 3 weeks ago, now reaching out to the Department of Investigation, Compliance, and Enforcement and the PUC staff to submit an answer on this coming Friday on what they recommend, where we go from here. Because everything that Windermere has done, or should I say, they haven't done, is in violation of an order, on top of an order, on top of an order, and on top of the commissioner's order. And then what they do file is the bylaws, and it wasn't filed by the attorneys. And by the way, the attorneys of record are supposed to file everything. So when you have an attorney, they do all the filings, district court, PUC, whatever. Someone on the board just doesn't file it. That's not how it works. So it's a mess. It's a complete mess, and you guys can sit up here and portray this, picture of everything is good. It's not good. And I will send everybody the information showing it's not good. You need to stop. We own this corporation. Stop hiding this from us. You need to be honest and tell everybody what's going on. And that includes the IRS. We want to know. And as a side note, you are still charging standby fees, which is not allowable because those standby fees is non-patron income, and you're not letting those people vote, but you're taking the money, and in the IRS, you're saying it's patron income. So you say the IRS is going after the previous board. Guess what? They're going to go after you now because you're taking that money and not claiming it's non-patron income. So throw yourself in that one. You're with all the previous boards. Don't blame them.
Thank you, Patty. All right, Danny?
Sure. So there's a new PUC tab on the website, and none of the stuff that Patty's talking about is on there, where you've missed your filings, where, the chief administrative law judge comes down on you. Why is none of that in there? That every filing should just be piled into that tab so people can sift through it and think for themselves. Thank you.
Thank you, Danny. All right. Very good. Right, let's talk about this one. I think I have one of the items, right?
I've got number 7.
The compliance report.
Is not
That was
the,
done, compliance
the
report's
Class
done.
D not part of it?
That was
Yeah, oh, you're doing the
Patty.
Class D one?
That was
first?
Patty.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, she got to speak and then we have something to talk.
Yeah, I
Class D.
thought you
Yeah, I'm
was
sorry.
compliance.
Yeah, go.
Is that one?
Yeah,
Okay, good.
yeah,
Because I have, all of us talk has something to do with it.
yeah, exactly.
All right, very good.
My bad.
Yeah, so I was given the Class D several weeks ago, and on that Class D there are several tabs, and each one is kind of topical. It has to do with one for finance, one for operations, one for corporate bio.
Hey,
type of
Ryan, can you tell them what the Class D,
It's a report that generally is
for our compliance?
Yes,
Yes,
well, we
yeah.
have to do it for
Yeah,
our
it's a compliance filing that we need to do. It's called a Class D.
I can tell you what I understand
Yeah,
about it.
yeah.
which is limited. Normally, it's not something that gets filed every year, but in our case, because we are in such bad, horrific shape, get an opportunity to say that. I think we all know that. Is there anyone in this room that doesn't know that? All right, because we're in such bad shape, the PUC asked us to fill out this special document. Class D, of course, is one of 4 classes. It's the lowest class, less than five, some number,
Some number of users.
threshold below that, that many customers, then you qualify for this less comprehensive, less detailed document. So I got a hold of this document, notice what I just mentioned. I farmed it out to our accounting team, to our operations team, to our, what is Lori's?
Oh, Lori, Billing.
To Lori for the bio information. And I took all of the information back and I put it in the document. It is on its way back to the PUC now. That's it.
Okay. So that's one of the compliance, that's one of the components of one of the compliance filings
Yes.
that we're about ready to submit. Okay.
You know, I just got a comment. If you looked at the 2022 Sunset Commission report on the PUC, they basically state that the difference between a Class D utility, which we are, 500 or less customers, is almost the same requirements as for a Class C. And it's a burden to have a small corporation like us to put all these requirements in, which takes a lot of effort by, support. CPAs, bookkeepers. You can't expect board members to put something like this together. And that's just a comment they came up with and something that PUC should work on, according to the Sunset Commission.
Okay, so who has what other parts of the compliance?
I do. I got a
Go
question.
ahead.
Okay, on August 14th, we submitted a report for docket number 56272, which is a compliance report in regards to the spreadsheet, in regards to account clarifications on water credits and sewer credits that they noted in our first initial filing of a compliance report. So we have since filed an updated report on docket 56272, which is our compliance reporting. This went out in the middle of August. I've requested this report, this letter, and the 2 spreadsheets that clarify the PUC questions to be uploaded to the website. I'll have to verify if they are there. But it's very self-explanatory what was sent to the commission and what they were looking for. So again, satisfying some of the compliance reporting along with our Class D and everything else we're trying to put together.
Good.
With that, last week on docket number 56273, an order came down. This will be on the website for everybody to review. This was to negate, null. Everybody remembers the filing that took place back in December that the previous law firm was trying to seek $200,000 in additional rate expenses. Well, it took a little while to get it all filed and packaged up for the PUC. Well, the PUC, the order came through last week, nullifying it. There's no additional expenses that will be put forth in the rate appeal case. You can read the you can read that order. It's in full up on the website, or should be soon thereafter. So that's coming. That's good news. Again, it was filed on behalf of the Windermere Oaks Water Supply Corporation. It was easy to get resolved. Docket number, another thing that's been being worked on, docket number 55840, which is the CCN amendment notices. Big, heavy document of all the requirements. That's for the expansion that took place across the road. Many pages of requirements of what needs to be mailed out. That is a work in process and needs to be all submitted by September 9th. That's one of them. I think what you had, we've submitted all the public notices on this. both to publications and various utilities that we were requested on. So this should be packaged up and needs to be in the hands of the PUC by September 9th. So that's another thing we've been working on, and I think it's all been resolved. Again, all this will be published on the website as well. We're trying to push as much as we can to the website. That's all I have.
Speaking of deadlines, the bylaws deadline was September 7th, so we should meet that too.
Okay.
Anything else on this topic? All right, we're going to move on to number 7, the IRS audit. Patty.
That's me.
Yeah.
Oh, she gets these through. Yeah.
Yes, help me, Jeff.
I mean this with complete sincerity. I appreciate y'all being volunteers on the board. You don't get paid. Been there, done it. I think everyone in this room has done it, whether a committee or not. But with that comes a responsibility to really know what you're doing. And when you're making a statement to your members that you're making an accurate statement, you're not putting out there incorrect information. So the sunset advisory thing is incorrect. It's specific to IOUs. We're WSC. We're being treated as an IOU on certain things, this Class D report, because they found us in violation of the law. We weren't operating as a nonprofit, and therefore we have to submit this Class D. So, you know, it's difficult. I get it. It's a lot to know. I do this for a living, but it's a lot to know. And you're paying your attorneys, I guess, to help, but they're not doing anything because none of the filings are getting done. But on to the IRS, because that's why I'm up here. As I stated before, you guys are continuing from the previous boards on doing things the IRS is investigating us for, or hopefully you're going to give us the report what they found. We are a 501c12, ladies and gentlemen, and that means that we're not supposed to be operating in a way that's in conflict with the IRS provisions of operating a co-op. Same thing for the nonprofit 22 and 67 water code. So you have to understand, you have to look at all these rules and laws applicable to this type of utility, and it's unique. There's nothing like this in the country. No other state has a WSC. It's just Texas. So it's difficult because there's layers and layers and layers. But we continue to be the dog chasing our tail. We continue to do things that are non-compliant with all those things. And we continue to pay attorneys tons of money that are making the mistake. And then we have to pay them to clean up the mistake. It's just, it's unbelievable. We are on a crash course the way you guys are operating us. And I mean, we need to either merge with another utility or something, because it's not working here. You guys are giving incorrect information. I can't wait to hear your IRS report.
Thank you, Patty. Danny?
You good?
You're good. All right. What do we know about our IRS dealings?
I'll give a report.
Okay, please.
I've been in the process with a couple of submittals and answers from the IRS. Basically, this all has to do with 2022, when vendors were paid for something. You're supposed to issue 1099s so the IRS knows who and what's getting paid. We have basically have little or no documentation. We have one 1099 that was for Pat Ross, who works by himself and takes the boat out to the barge whenever that needs some fixing. Everybody else, we just do not have the records. So I went in and looked up the possible reasons for not applying penalties or withholding, because that's what the IRS will do. And one of them is lost, or you don't have records for whatever reason. It might be a flood or whatever. We do not have the records. So basically, everything they've been asking for, and I've been asking for our current bookkeepers, CPAs, attorneys, and the ones that were operating back in 2022. Haven't heard anything back. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 items where we need 1099s, but some of those have been thrown out. Like Higginbottom is a insurance company. You don't need a 1099 for them. You do need 1099s for attorneys or law firms. You do not need 1099s for other corporations, ones that are Inc. One problem is that George Burris was set up as Water Management Incorporated in the state of Texas. So there should be no 1099s from us to him. Everybody that was working for Wouse, they were actually working for George. The IRS is saying, we don't have these, you need these. We're going back and saying, we didn't hire these people, George did. And Jeff is saying, well, tell them to go after them. They won't do that. They just want an explanation of why we don't have them. So these have been sent in, and we're waiting to hear back from them. They're very, I mean, they're not bad. They're not trying to, gouge us or anything. They're just asking for this information, but in a very specific IRS procedural way. Okay, and that's where we stand so far.
And your dealings with the IRS, have they been threatening? Have they threatened you at all?
No.
How would you explain your dealings with the IRS?
This is a letter.
It's a letter?
Yeah.
A human
Letter
being?
requesting just information.
Well,
like-
someone
like you
actually
said,
came
yeah.
here though,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
From Florida.
Oh, but that was before.
Okay, but
Yeah.
still,
Yeah.
I'm trying to get to a point here. Have they threatened us?
No.
Have you been threatened with
No,
being
no,
sued?
no.
Have they threatened the
We
corporation?
don't sue.
Here, I can give you an example of what they want. Forms 1099 and penalties. Based on your records and several discussions held, it was determined that the organization made several payments, individuals and/or entities in the amount of $600 or more. However, our reporting system does not show a Form 1099 for all vendors that received payments. Please provide delinquent Form 1099s for the following vendors. There's Jaw-Con, Teodoro Rivera, Gulf Coast Pump and Supply, Wastewater Transport Services LLC, and we do need them for an LLC, Lloyd Gosselink, etc. Pertinalis Electric, I'm not sure if we need one for them, but that will be easy to get. And Higginbottom, which is one of our insurance companies.
Could you repeat
That's typical of what they're
what you said
asking
about
for.
George
No
Bush?
threats, just, and according to IRS law, this is what's required, this is what you need to give us
For this audit. That's what they're looking for.
for this audit, that's right.
Is Lloyd Gosling's firm an LLC as well?
It doesn't matter,
But, okay, so they want a 1099, right?
yeah.
And you do not need one for a corporation, I understand that. But you mentioned that you do also need one for an LLC. So what is Gosling? Is it a corporation?
As far as they just say, attorneys and law firms need, okay, they don't state whether,
Okay.
how it's formed.
Thank you, that's where I was.
They're called PC,
Yeah.
which is what, professional